I should really be thinking about the Halloween special rather than just lounging around, but just don't know what to do this year. Perhaps a song and dance number, or some funny skits, or something along those lines? Or maybe I'll just do the same boring show I did last year. That'll do, Slim. That will do.
Inside this strange, forbidding plantation, on the edge of the death-laden bayous, there is a horror beyond belief. A scientist turns his cobalt rays on the revolting, scaly monarchs of the swamps to transform men into hideous, living gargoyles, whose faces must be forever hidden from human sight.
I'll kill you, alligator man! Just like I'd kill any four-legged gator!
Throughout time, people have asked, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Maybe it was a manglore, like Manglore Demon. You can pretend to hatch Manglore Dragon and Manglizard, too, each sold separately in a make-believe egg. You can stretch them, squash them, take them apart. They'll return almost like new to their original forms. So if you want to hatch up some fun, you can crack open a Manglore. The Manglores, Manglore Demon, Manglore Dragon, and Manglizard, each sold separately from Ideal.
Well, howdy, party people and space cadets, and welcome to a Spider Island Halloween Part 2, the second of my, Halloween specials. And just like last year's, it's just going to be a bunch of random Halloween-y goodness thrown together in a vaguely Halloween-y way. So first, I figured I'd start with my Halloween pickups for this year, because every year I try to pick up some random goodies, random seasonal goodies. So let's take a look at some of the things I bought this time. And this first one, I'd say, is only vaguely Halloween-ish, but I thought it was very cool. I actually found it at the grocery store, and I just absolutely had to have it. I kept going, eyeballing it, but eventually I got this guy. And check this out. It is a skeleton frog. And as some of you may know, I just love frogs. And I just thought this guy was so cool looking and so charming. I mean, just look at that charming little face. And just not something you normally associate with Halloween stuff. It's usually the usual bats or cats or wolves or that kind of stuff. But this year they actually had the skeleton frog and a skeleton octopus, which I thought was kind of groovy too. But I just had to have the frog first. And if you look, he actually has some articulation. His head moves. It's making a fool out of me. It's a little... Open your mouth, boy. Yeah. Little mouth opens, and now he looks like he's smiling. You can just imagine him in like an old school, like Looney Tunes or Disney style Halloween special, like sitting on a lily pad or a tombstone or something, just singing a little froggy song. Little froggy guy from the grocery store. Very awesome. Yeah, let's take a look at the back there. You want a little bit of PG-13 frog booty action. And the next little pickup, this came from a Walmart trip, and this was just particularly awesome. And it is a metal sign. But if you look, it's for Goblin brand potions. But what is particularly amazing about this piece and why it really stands out, this guy here, it looks like they're throwing a yard gnome into the potion. I mean, how perfect is that for me? Not only being part goblin, but fighting the good fight about the scourge and the terror in this world that is yard gnomes. That gnome going right in the potion. I don't even care what the potion does. I want to buy and support it just to support the getting rid of these little jokers. That's right. Goblin brand potion. Awesome stuff. And another pickup from that very same Walmart trip, and this is going to be kind of hard to film because it's kind of big, but it is a Disney wall clean set with a bunch of, it's got Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and Minnie as different monsters. Let's try to get this, not covering it too much. So we got Frank and Goofy and Frank and Mickey, Pirate Mickey, which kind of stands out even though I like pirates, kind of not as spooky as the rest. Mummy, Minnie and Mickey, then a bunch of different fun minis. But I think the standout one, and I think a particular buddy of mine would agree, is the Mummy Donald. I mean, is that not just... Whoops. No, I can't see myself. Is that not just the perfect... Can you guys see that okay? I mean, look at that face. I mean, that is just Donald. And a mummy is a non-traditional choice for Donald, but I thought it was really cool. And that's really what sold the set. Mummy Donald. Now, last but definitely not least, matter of fact, this is the coolest piece in the lot. And I've really come to discover lately that I'm just not as into overtly scary things anymore. Like if something just over the top in your face, ooh, scary, creepy, gore, like it just, as decoration, I mean, just doesn't do a lot for me. I tend to like the either more subdued, kind of subtly scary stuff, or retro style stuff. And this thing here is a perfect example of retro style, kind of an almost Americana Halloween. And it's a piece I picked up at Spirit Halloween store, a pop-up in what used to be my Kmart. Yeah, kind of bummed to have lost the Kmart though. I do think there's one still nearish, but I really am going to miss Kmart. But that is this very cool looking just stack. Got a very retro looking jack-o'-lantern, kitty, and then skull and a top hat. This is a great piece. And not only is it a great piece, it lights up. I actually filmed a little something in the dark earlier so you guys could see kind of what it looks like. Let's take a look at that now. See, isn't that awesome? And it looks even better in person. But yeah, this was a great piece and relatively affordably too. I think it was like just $20. And it's, not that, but it's good. It's kind of a, not porcelain, what do you call that, ceramic? It's a good, kind of nice little piece here. I think he's super cool. Let's see if there's a way I can stop doing that, because that's his, there, the blinker button. Yeah, you can't really see it, but is there a way I can position? Yeah. Gotta go down there with the other pieces. Alright, and since I'm done with that, why don't we take a little break?
Supernaturals! Now you can join the battle between brave Lionheart and evil Skull and their eerie ghostlings.
Lion, you're dying. Now, Master.
They change to fight with ghostly might. Turn them into the light, and they change into even more powerful creatures.
Now, the lion in me is free. Take this!
Supernaturals. Lionheart, Skull, and Ghostling sold separately. New from Tonka.
Everybody's heading for Woolworth and Woolco to get set for Halloween. There's costumes of TV favorites like Wonder Woman and the Hulk. There's popular characters from Star Wars. And there's superheroes like Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, and many more at bare bones prices. $2.38 to $4.17. And there's Spook Sticks, Face Pops, Hallowitches, wrapped candy of every kind, all at the favorite Halloween haunts. Woolworth and Woolco.
And we are back, and we're, much like last year, I'm going to do a little story time. I don't have as many stories as I did last year, because I just couldn't think of any except for this one, but maybe I'll save them for Spider Island Halloween Part 3. So this story is actually about a Halloween costume, but not my own costume, surprisingly. So just to kind of preface this story a little bit, there was not many kids on my block growing up, especially when I was real young. And the main kid who lived down the street, kind of really the only person to play with for a long time, was, I wouldn't call him a bully per se, because he wasn't really a bully, but he was a massive jerk. Massive jerk and just kind of psycho. And he was that type of kid, let me tell you, who would get a new video game and they wouldn't let you try it. You just had to sit and watch them play the whole time. Yeah, I think you all know that kid. He was that kid to a T. But that year he got one of the kind of Ben Cooper style, might even been Ben Cooper, plastic devil costumes where you had the plastic devil mask and then kind of the frock tunic smocky thing. But it was one of those ones that had the picture of the character on the shirt, not a picture of what the character's chest would be like. Those always kind of bothered me anyway. I was like, why would you be walking around with a picture of yourself on your own shirt? Even though if I had shirts, I'd probably wear my own self on my own shirt. Anyway, what was it talking about? Yes. So he had one of those. But what really bothered me about it was he bought some fake blood. And he actually ran the fake blood in streaks kind of down his arms. And the way it looked, it didn't look in a way like you would think blood splatter from him killing people or something. No, it was like he had cuts on his arms. And that just blew my mind in a bad way. It's like, why would the devil have cuts on his arms? It made absolutely no sense, and it bothered me so much. And like I said, this kid was borderline bully, mainly just a jerk, but I tell you, I gave him a hard time that day because of just how ridiculous looking that was. And I don't think I even wanted to trick-or-treat with him because of that very reason. You know, I don't really like to tell negative stories or partake in negativity on this channel, but that just bugged me. And I just thought that was a fun, buggy Halloween memory. And with that, let's take another break.
Bad scientist.
I've done it. It's dissect an alien, and it's...
Gross!
You take his insides out and put them back in. Too gross.
Yuck!
That's disgusting.
He's a real slime bucket. Yuck! Dissect an alien. Watch for time freaks and more gross creations so you too can be a mad scientist. Too gross.
And we're front. Sideways. Back again. And for this one, I figured the Halloween season is almost over by now, but you still have a few more days to kind of enjoy the end of the Halloween times. And I thought I would give you some random recommendations to maybe enjoy for the remainder of the season. This comes out Friday, the Friday before Halloween. So here we go. First, I'd like to talk about a film I saw recently for the first time since the theater, and that is The Stuff. Wow, was I impressed and blown away with this movie. And I absolutely guarantee, this is a slim guarantee, that it is the best movie you will ever see about evil yogurt. And the best way to describe this stuff is imagine Halloween 3, which, don't get offended people, but is actually my favorite of the original Halloween series, mixed with The Blob, starring a curmudgeonly but smooth-talking Southern con man gentleman played by Michael Moriarty. This is just a great movie with some mind-blowing practical effects. I actually watched it on Tubi, which is, I guess, a new app streaming platform that is totally free with limited commercials, but it's totally on above board. It's legal. Everything's good because of the limited commercials. And let me tell you, folks, they have an unreal selection of B-movies, independent horror. If you love 80s classic weird B-movies and horror stuff, check out Tubi right now. It's got some great stuff on it. Next, we're going to do a music recommendation. And that is from my buddy Lyle Blackburn, who I've talked about before on the channel, one of the country's leading cryptozoologists, and that is his band Ghoultown. And the best way I can describe Ghoultown is imagine a Hammer horror western. Like if Hammer horror made a western and put it in musical form, that is Ghoultown. I've heard it described as cowpunk, as heavy western, different thing, but imagine dead cowboys singing dead cowboy-y kind of songs. And that's Ghoultown. Here, why don't we take a quick listen to a little bit right now.
Twilight descending, I vanquish the sun. There's nowhere to hide, there's nowhere to run. A demon of opiate dreams. You hear my whisper as loud as a scream. I am the night, say your goodbyes. This is the hour, darkness devours. I am the night, say your goodbyes. This is the hour, darkness devours the bay. Just call my name. On the Tobin riding, under the phantom blue. On the Tobin riding, who beats like hammers of doom.
See, wasn't that fantastic? Okay, so we're going to do one more recommendation, because let me tell you, folks, this Kung Fu outfit with all my new body fur, it's hot. Ugh. And it's a book recommendation. And this is a fantastic book that I go to back and forth all the time. And it's an anthology book. I'm actually reading in it now. Tales from the Cthulhu Mythos. I love this book. And it's essentially just a bunch of stories, mostly classic stories, set in the Cthulhu mythos. It actually has the Call of Cthulhu in it, a bunch of Lovecraft stories as well, intermixed with other stories that reference or just have that feel, and it's got some great authors in it. Stephen King has a story, Robert Bloch, and of course Philip Josie or Jose Farmer, who's one of my absolute favorite writers. I actually discovered him through his wonderful story in here called The Freshman. And it's really cool too, because there's actually multiple stories by certain authors. Let's see, what was the one I'm looking for? Darn, these claws, it makes it really difficult to read when I'm not using my magic medallion to go into my more humanoid form. Fantastic book. Highly recommended. And that about does it for this year's Spider Island Halloween. Hope you all enjoyed it. I certainly did, except for the excessive heat here in the space station. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really does us YouTubers good. It really helps us out. And may your pants always be filled with May your pants always be filled with pumpkin-shaped marshmallows.
Hallmark's ready for Halloween, and you know, it's the strangest thing. Everybody's wild about new scratch and sniff stickers in special trick-or-treat packages, and they're dying to take home these cuddly pumpkin beanbags. And these party decorations are so popular, they seem to just disappear. So come to Hallmark, the Halloween store. We're waiting for you.
As Halloween approaches, you have to prepare yourself for what might happen.
More orange sprinkles.
It's a special time of year, and Dunkin' Donuts is dressing up their donuts for the occasion.
And here's the werewolf.
So come to Dunkin' Donuts and get into the spirit of Halloween.
We'd like some Halloween donuts, please.
Oh.
Oh, I do enjoy an evening with a little light entertainment. But when your video heads get dirty, you lose your picture. Not a pretty sight. Happily, this new Polaroid video cassette will help you. It actually cleans your heads as it plays, so dirty heads needn't haunt you. New Polaroid video cassettes. Get the picture?
There's nothing to that story about a monster.
I shall never forget that night when I found your grandfather down there on the path at the edge of the cliff after he'd met it, so horribly mangled.
So, you want to know the story of Splatterhouse? The new horror video game for TurboGrafx 16. They say he stalks the old haunted mansion. They say he's looking for his girlfriend. They say his only weapon against the maggot-eaten ghouls who took her is a 2x4. And you say you want to play this game? Splatterhouse. Only for the TurboGrafx 16 system from NEC.
They are the most monstrous and gross. If you love slime, then it's about time for oozers.
It's slime time.
Oozers. Oozers. Oozing with fun, try squeezing one. They're oozers.
Monstrous slime, each sold separately.
Welcome to the world of terror. When I'm not busy embalming bodies, which isn't often, I like to relax with some good family reading. let me introduce you to my personal library of Fangoria, the leader in horror entertainment. What a fascinatingly hideous cover of Freddy Krueger. And devilishly candid reviews of the latest horror videos. And gloriously bloody color photos from the newest Friday the 13th. They're all here in Fangoria. Can I persuade you to subscribe?